Opening scene: the forest that watched back. The Appalachian Mountains had a way of making people disappear. For hundreds of years, these ancient forests had swallowed explorers, soldiers, criminals, and those who believed they were powerful enough to conquer nature. The mountains didn't care about technology. They didn't care about money. They didn't care about the weapons people carried. They only cared about one thing: survival. Deep inside the remote Appalachian wilderness, where thick forests stretched for miles and old trails vanished beneath layers of moss and fallen leaves, a man moved silently through the darkness. His name was Ethan Cole, a former Delta Force operator, a soldier who had spent 15 years hunting enemies in some of the most dangerous places on Earth. But tonight, he wasn't the hunter. He was the target. Above him, hidden beyond the clouds, something watched. Not a helicopter, not a human, something faster, something smarter, a machine, a drone equipped with thermal sensors, artificial intelligence tracking, and technology designed to find a single human being hiding anywhere on the planet. And that machine was looking for him. Chapter 1: The Mission That Went Wrong. 3 days earlier, Ethan Cole had been assigned what was supposed to be a simple reconnaissance operation. A remote intelligence mission. No firefight, no extraction, no complications. His objective was to locate an illegal weapons research site hidden somewhere in the Appalachian backcountry. The organization behind it had developed advanced autonomous surveillance systems, drones capable of operating without direct human control, drones that could identify movement, drones that could predict escape routes, drones designed to make traditional hiding almost impossible. Ethan and his team entered the mountains before sunrise. They moved through the trees like ghosts. Years of special operations training had taught them how to disappear, how to move without leaving obvious signs, how to read the environment, how to become part of the wilderness. But they discovered something they never expected. The enemy wasn't waiting for them. The enemy already knew they were coming. A drone appeared above the trees. Then another. Then 5 more. The forest became a battlefield. The team scattered. Radio communication failed. The mission collapsed in minutes. Ethan watched his teammates disappear into different directions, each trying to survive. His orders changed. Forget the objective. Forget the mission. Stay alive. And whatever happens, do not let them capture you. Chapter 2: The Eye in the Sky. Night fell over the mountains. Ethan crouched beneath a massive fallen tree, listening. The forest was normally alive. Gulls, wind, small animals moving through the brush. But now there was something else. A mechanical hum, almost impossible to hear. Almost. A drone moved above the trees. Its cameras scanned the ground. Its sensors searched for heat. The machine wasn't guessing. It was calculating. Every movement, every possibility, every mistake. Ethan looked up. The drone wasn't just searching the forest. It was learning it. He knew something most people didn't understand. Technology was powerful, but technology depended on patterns. And the wilderness had no patterns. The mountains were chaos. The trees changed every day. The weather changed every hour. The land itself was unpredictable. That was his advantage. Ethan removed his equipment. Anything that created a signal. Anything that made him easier to find. He became lighter, slower, but harder to detect. The drone passed overhead. For several seconds, the thermal camera searched the area. Then, it moved away. Ethan waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 20. Only then did he move. Because surviving wasn't about speed. It was about patience. Chapter 3: The Hunt Begins. By morning, the enemy knew something was wrong. The drone operators expected Ethan to run. They expected him to follow roads, trails, rivers, common escape routes. But Ethan didn't think like someone escaping. He thought like someone being hunted. Every action was a decision. Every step mattered. He studied the environment around him. The mountain valleys, the weather, the movement of wildlife, the places where humans rarely traveled. The enemy had machines. He had experience. And experience was something artificial intelligence couldn't completely understand. A drone could recognize a person. But could it understand why someone chose a certain path? Could it understand instinct, fear, desperation? Ethan believed that was the difference. Machines calculated. Humans adapted. Chapter 4, The Storm. On the third night, the mountains changed. A storm arrived. Heavy rain hit the forest. Thunder rolled across the valleys. The temperature dropped. For Ethan, it was dangerous. For the drones, it was worse. The weather disrupted their sensors. The rain created thousands of false signals. The wind distorted sound. The storm turned the forest into a giant shield. But the enemy had prepared. A new drone appeared, different from the others, bigger, quieter, more advanced. It didn't search randomly. It followed logic, predicted where Ethan would go. And for the first time, the machine was ahead of him. Ethan watched it from a ridge. He realized the enemy wasn't chasing his location anymore. They were chasing his thoughts. They were predicting him. And that meant he had to do something impossible. He had to stop thinking like a soldier. He had to start thinking like the mountain. Chapter 5, Becoming Invisible. Ethan abandoned every military instinct. Special forces training taught people how to survive. But the wilderness taught something deeper. Humility. The forest did not reward strength. It rewarded awareness. He moved through areas most people avoided. Places covered by thick vegetation, steep terrain, unpredictable ground. The drone searched above. But Ethan wasn't where a person should be. That was the point. The machine expected a human. Ethan became something else. A shadow, a movement between trees, a figure the technology struggled to define. Chapter 6, The Final Pursuit. After nearly a week alone, Ethan reached the final mountain ridge. Beyond it was his extraction point. Freedom. But the enemy knew. The drones surrounded the area. There was nowhere left to run. The main drone descended through the clouds. Its lights cut through the darkness. For the first time, Ethan stood in the open. No hiding, no escape, just him and the machine. The drone scanned, found movement. It locked on. Then Ethan did something unexpected. He stopped running, because he finally understood. The drone was designed to chase, so he gave it something impossible. Nothing, no movement, no signal, no pattern. The machine searched. Seconds passed. Then minutes. The drone hovered, confused. The operator watching the feed whispered, "Where did he go?" But Ethan was already moving. Not away, forward. Using the confusion. Using the moment. Using the one thing machines struggled with. Human unpredictability. Chapter 7, The Last Shadow. When the rescue helicopter finally arrived, Ethan stepped out of the forest. Exhausted, injured, changed. The team asked him one question. How did you survive against technology designed to find anyone? Ethan looked back toward the mountains, the endless trees, the darkness, the place that almost became his grave. Then he answered, because they built machines to understand the world. He paused. But they forgot one thing. The world doesn't always make sense. The mountains had protected him. Not because they were stronger than technology, but because they were impossible to completely predict. The drones returned to their base. The mission was analyzed. Every second reviewed. Every decision studied. But one question remained unanswered. How did one man disappear inside a forest filled with cameras, sensors, and artificial intelligence? The answer was simple. He didn't defeat the machines. He reminded them that nature was still the oldest survival system on Earth. And in the Appalachian wilderness, the last shadow belonged to the man who knew how to vanish.